Welcome to the first edition of the 2002 Arnie Ball Show. This week we're going to preview the team and our schedule coming up this weekend with Long Beach State and Concordia College here. We're also going to have as our guest senior outside hitter Jeff Patak. So please stay with us. Welcome to the Arnie Ball Show. I'm your host, Mark Franke, and we're back for a brand new season. Our sponsors this year are some old friends of ours, Farm Bureau Insurance and Fujifilm, and we have a few others that we'll mention later on. And we're starting our first show. We got notified of that this morning.
Hey, we're a fly by the seat of our pants outfit.
So if anybody out there was operating under the illusion that we carefully prepare these things and script them, they're wrong.
Well, we did this for Mike Moss.
Well, Mike's back in the control room with John, and John's a little frantic back there too. I think he's forgotten how to do this.
Mike's come here to learn, I understand, today.
But fortunately, we have Jeffrey coming on. Jeff's an old pro at this. He'll straighten us out when his segment comes up next.
Yeah, he'll straighten the whole world out. Just ask him.
Well, while we're talking about Jeff, he's one of our players who suffered an injury this fall, and Maddie did as well. You want to talk a little bit about that, and then maybe about the team?
Well, we certainly can talk about Jeff and Maddie. They both had severe injuries, very close to one another. Maddie had surgery in September, and Jeff the first week of October. Maddie had a total ACL tear, so he had to have surgery. Jeff had a meniscus, not necessarily tear, but the meniscus actually flipped over in the knee joint, and his knee actually locked up. About 3 days he was sitting around wanting sympathy, of which he got very little.
I think meniscus is the biggest word you've ever used in a sentence.
I'm becoming educated over the summer. I'm flipping through the dictionary trying to figure out what all that stuff meant.
I have no idea what it is, but it's a really impressive word.
How about this? Anterior cruciate ligament.
Sounds real impressive.
ACL, see?
Why is interior crucial ligament an ACL?
Anterior.
Anterior. Oh.
And interior, okay? Actually, I don't want to be educated in these areas. I can tell you that right now. Both those guys had surgery, as I said, one in September, one in October. Went through extensive surgery, or rehabilitation for the last 3.5 months. And just yesterday, we're cleared by the doctor to come back to practice and start playing with us.
So this weekend, when we open, will we see either of them playing?
Jeff is a little further along than Maddie, even though we're taping the show on Tuesday and we have till Friday, and the doc tells us, because they both did their rehabilitation like they were supposed to, so their strength is pretty good. Their muscle definition, and Patak, I'm sure, will talk about that a great deal when you get him on the show, because that's one of his big deals, of which he has no definition, but he at least would like to have some.
Likes to talk about it.
Yeah, would like to have some. Aren't nearly as defined as obviously they need to be. But the doctors told us that they can play up to whatever they feel that they're limited to do. So it would appear, having just seen him for a day, that Jeff certainly will have an opportunity to play, and we think Maddie will have some opportunity to play also.
And this year we're really deep, so we can get by with 2 of our starters being.
Oh yeah, we're really, really deep, that's for sure. We have a lot of players. That doesn't necessarily mean we're very deep, though. Actually, we do have a lot of players, but we just have a lot of young kids. Jeff and Josh Sanders and Aris are the only 3 seniors we have. Everybody else will be underclassmen. And we'll start, as of right now, we'll start 2 freshmen on Friday night.
We've got Angel back, right? Angel and Josh will be in the middle.
Angel and Josh will be in the middle.
We have a new setter, freshman.
Yeah, Dennis Santiago. Left-handed kid, 6'3", tremendously athletic, fun to watch. Be a lot different than anything we've had. Actually, for our whole program, Colin Leiter is static, and Colin goes way, way back. But he's ecstatic because we finally have another left-handed setter. Yeah, so he's excited about that. Dennis is a freshman. Eligibility-wise, he's actually a sophomore academically. And then Mitch Dreisbach, kid out of Elkhart, probably will start at opposite for us, at least as of right now.
And then who'll be backing up Maddie and Jeff with their injuries?
Aris was our number one outside backup right now. Ryan Staley's had a really good spring practice. So we expect Ryan to be the backup setter, the backup outside, and the backup opposite right now. And he knows that. And he actually can play libero for us as well. So Ryan has had really a good spring. I'm just really pleased with Ryan's progress. That's the primary nucleus of our older kids. Dusty Sherman's back, and he'll be our serving specialist for sure. Right now, Nick Bellman is our leading candidate for libero, but as I said, Ryan can jump in there as well. Jason Morgan, who is a new player for us out of Minnesota, another Minnesotan, will probably right now be our backup middle because he's played some middle in club program. But he's going to see very limited playing time, provided we don't have to have him in the middle.
So you've got a number of young kids that you need a season of training with them, don't you?
Well, we do with the kids, the backup kinds of kids. You know, right now, Dennis has played a lot. Dennis is not a freshman as a player. He's just a freshman on our roster. So he's not a real big concern to us in regards to having some season to him. Mitch is a kid that we can certainly use some time with. We just don't have a lot of time to use with him. We're going to have to be very dependent upon Maddie and Jeff and Josh and Angel, and we're quite confident Dennis will be just fine. But those four guys especially are going to have to lead us.
Well, one thing that will be a change, even without the injuries to Maddie and to Jeff, is that we're going to see a lot more middle offense.
Well, it certainly was indicative of the fall when we went out to Arizona and played USC in Arizona. Dennis likes to run the middle, and he'll run the middle from off the net as well. Obviously, some of that becomes dependent upon our passing, going back to Jeff and Maddie. But if we pass the ball somewhat decently, Josh and Angel are going to see a lot more balls.
And that will help. That will help in a lot of ways, to have a more balanced offense, take some pressure off them, especially as they're still a little tender coming out to play.
Well, there's no doubt about what we have to have compared to last year and even the year before, in '99. The team and I had the team over at the house the other night. We were watching the Long Beach finals, and we didn't run the middle very much, and everybody kept loading it well. Of course, we had those big studs on the outside, P-Tac being one, and Hector and so on and so forth. But with this group, we need to have more balance, and Dennis is very willing to run the middle. Now, how effective it is sometimes is another story, but the other plus for Dennis and the quick attack is that he is very good offensively.
So he can probably swing at the second ball if he's left-handed.
He likes to swing at the second ball.
It's a Puerto Rican trait, isn't it?
Well, I don't care what it is. It's just really positive right now, and it certainly makes our offense much more diversified than it has been in a long time.
Well, so they'll see a lot of familiar faces, a couple new ones, and hopefully have a little better season this year than we did last year. Did we finish with a losing record last year?
Yes, we did.
It's only twice, right?
We were 500 in MIVA, but we were a losing record in the second time in the history of the program.
Well, we'll make sure that doesn't happen again, right? That's your guarantee.
Your next guest is the key.
The next guest, Jeff Patak, will come on and give the guarantee that we will not have another losing season. So when we come back, Jeff will be here. Please stay with us.
They came from every corner of the country. From small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few, dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still they come. celebrate the 225-year history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Let me show you something amazing. This is Amanda. She was born with a serious skin condition. You're about to see it disappear. Some might call this magic, but the real magic's happened on the inside. The child's self-esteem has been restored. Don't let anything get in the way of being a kid. This is David Copperfield for the American Academy of Dermatology.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. Our guest this segment is Jeff Patak, our senior outside hitter. Before I talk to Jeff, though, I've got to tell you we have some additional sponsors that I need to mention. Freedom Financial and Alco Distributors. I have no idea what it is Alco distributes, but I'm sure they're worthwhile products, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. The entire control room just yelled what Alco distributes. So.
And what do they distribute?
We'll let it go at that.
Okay.
They're the Anheuser-Busch distributor for the year.
All right. It's good for us.
That's good for us. That's right. So the team bus will be loaded down with Bud beer, I guess, as we go outside.
Yes. Finally, huh?
Yeah, or what is their non-alcoholic one? O'Doul's, right?
Yeah.
So I'll come on the floor with beer on our breath, but it's non-alcoholic, and it won't help us
good.
play any better.
All right.
Jeff, you just got back in town from, 8 foot of snow in the Rochester-Buffalo area?
Yeah, we had some serious snow over the break. We didn't have any for Christmas, but day after Christmas we got pounded pretty bad. It was the first day we got about 4 feet, and then 3 the next day, like accumulated 4 days or whatever. And my snowblower broke the first day, so I was out there shoveling.
So that was your physical conditioning plan over the holidays,
good.
right?
It wasn't bad. It was nice. I documented. I took pictures. We had to go to the store to get beer and to get snacks, and so I took a little camera. We walked to the store, so it was pretty cool.
Well, see, if you were in Fort Wayne, you could have gone straight to one of the Alco supplied retailers, and you could have supported our sponsor, right?
That's true. I think I did do a little. had a little bud actually, so it was all right.
But we should point out Jeff is a senior and he's over 21, so that was all legal, right?
Yeah, it was legal.
So according to the big guy, your knee is you're ready, you're released, you can play, but you said between the break here that you're still feeling a lot of pain. You don't have quite the jumping ability that you like.
No, I can't jump at all anymore, but I could play a little bit, and that's good. I didn't think I was going to be able to play. I went home before break, and I was just feeling pretty down, and I wasn't doing too well, and I was hardly even moving around, just barely jogging, and I worked really hard, and I got my strength back kind of, and I jumped for the first time 3 days ago, and I feel all right. I don't have any hops anymore, but I can play a little bit, so it's kind of embarrassing, but
so how much off your vertical have you lost?
I lost good. I don't even know. Coach will yell something from the room. I can't jump. I jump about a foot in the air. I don't know. It's
Foot in
all
the
right,
air,
though.
right?
I'm okay. Good to go, though. That's all that matters.
Well, and that's something that should come back fairly quickly then, right?
Hopefully. Hopefully 3 days it'll come back. I don't know. I mean, it came back from a couple days ago when I first started jumping. Today, I think I gained about 6 inches in a couple days, but still have a long way to go.
So are you going through a special rehab program right now with our trainers?
Right now, I'm not doing anything this week. I'm just playing. I'm doing little weight training in the weight room with my legs, but that's about it with my knee. Had an extensive workout routine I had over the break and in the fall for my leg, but it really paid off, I think, now, and I feel pretty good.
What about Matty? What's he look like?
Matty's doing good. We're about the exact same right now, pretty much same strength, same jumping ability, and it's good. It's kind of cool. He's my roommate, and we worked really hard, and we're kind of proud to be back. So he looks good.
And between Jeff Patak and Matt Izbashevsky, we have the only Polish left side probably in the NCAA, right?
We're proud of that too. He's teaching me Polish. I don't know it. I know some words and just the
Well, I can imagine what it is he's teaching you.
I know some good ones, but he's trying to teach me it so we can be fluent.
Fluent, yeah.
He's fluent. I'm not.
You're still working on being fluent in English, right?
I'm trying.
You're
big
doing
words are tough. Coach is doing. I'm impressed by Coach. That first segment there, the words.
Yeah. What was that word he used? I think he made it up.
He did.
Does that sound like a body part?
Correct. It wasn't correct. Crucial ligament. Come on. That's not right.
Well, I don't know anything about body parts, so I couldn't gainsay him on that. But,
I didn't do too well in biology myself, so.
well, Jeff, let's look back a little bit. You're going into your last season here. You came as a freshman in '99, right?
True.
And that was, I think, probably the best team we ever had, other than maybe '92. That is the absolute closest we've ever come to winning it all. And in fact, it was a couple injuries at the end of the season. Hector's ankle and Chris Gislin's shoulder that probably held us back more than anything.
Yeah, that was a pretty great season. I came in here, not even think I was going to play at all, and then ended up, starting almost the whole season. And then the team, with a great bunch of guys. I mean, Scott, Hector, Chris. I mean, all these guys are playing pro right now. Javier, and it was an amazing season, and we have not been able to, reflect that since. Hopefully this year, man. I mean, we got Dennis coming in at that setter. It's looking very promising.
Well, then we went to the year 2000. We had basically everybody back but Ryan Parrott and Javier. And everybody thought, well, we ought to go back. In fact, a lot of people at the finals that year thought that Long Beach State IPFW match in the semifinals would be the finals the next year. But neither of us made it.
We didn't
That was
do too well.
disappointing, wasn't it?
That was very disappointing. I mean, for us and probably for Long Beach also, because they had all the returning starters also. And I don't know what happened that year. We just couldn't gel as a team, and it was terrible.
And then last year, of course, as we said in the last segment, that was only our second losing season in the history of the program.
I mean, I guess last year was terrible. It was worse than the year before. I mean, the year before was really disappointing, and we were hoping to come back at least be a 500 team last year, and it did not happen. We didn't play well at all. We didn't link together, and nothing was good last year. It was just disappointing.
Well, considering the fact that did we have any seniors last year? I don't think we had any.
We didn't have any seniors, no.
We had no seniors. We'd lost 6 or 7 starters over the last 2 years, and we didn't even have full team. As a matter of fact, we traveled usually with 11 players. I think the fact that we actually were quite competitive given our record. I think Coach Ball told me that we lost 31 games by the minimum 2 points.
Yeah, it was. We did all right. It was just the fact that we're so young. I wasn't ready to take the leadership role. I was immature. I blame a lot of it on myself. But I mean, the whole team just didn't. We had no passing, no hitting, no blocking, no serving. And this year we're working on more technical things, and hopefully it'll be better this year.
Well, if we didn't have any of those things, we were kind of we were going into the gym without many weapons.
We had no weapons. We could serve the ball with the net once in a while. That's about it. I don't know anything else.
Of course, we also had to deal then with the new rules with the rally scoring, and the let's serve, and so forth.
That was different. I mean, we had the libero come in. We came in the season. We thought we were going to have a different setter, a different outside hitter, and then all the rules changed with Division I, and so we weren't really prepared. And I just guarantee this season won't be as bad as last season. So fans, come out and watch us, please.
What's it like at practice in the fall and in the last week or so as the team's been together?
In the fall, it was pretty upsetting. Me and Matt just sat there on the sidelines and watched, and it wasn't the same, without us vocally, because we're both kind of loud and obnoxious, and we like to laugh and stuff while we play and have a good time. And we didn't see any of that going on. And I think the past couple of days has been a lot more fun, maybe for Coach and for everybody else. Just I'm yelling and making fun of people and making fun of myself and just trying to bring some humor into the game.
Well, in the last minute here, I'm going to change the subject because I think it's important to get this in. Over the summer, you had a rather important summer training period, didn't you?
Yeah, that's true. I was out training with the U.S. team. I played in the World League. We were the top 12 teams or so, and then the World, or 18, I think, they play. It's like a round-robin tournament type deal, and I went to Germany and played, and the team went over to Amsterdam, and it was pretty cool. It was a great experience, played with some of the best players in the world.
So that even though you had to sit out the fall, you still had you've not been sitting on your rear end the entire time since last.
Yeah, I was
May
playing
1st.
Good, and then all of a sudden this happened, so it was kind of a downfall for me.
Well, I think probably the most important thing people want to know out there is how many different colors of hair are we going to see this year?
I'm solid. I'm this dark.
You're solid?
Yeah, I'm solid dark this year. I grew out of that kind of thing.
What about the other players? You're the team captain, I assume, so are you going to...
whatever they want to do, I don't care.
Whatever they want to do?
As long as we play good, I don't care.
You're just going to be a lackadaisical, laid-back captain.
Whatever it takes to get the job done with the team.
And now the most important prediction, what % of the coin tosses are you going to win?
I never win it, so I'm going to have someone else go up there instead of me. So.
Someone other than you?
Yeah, I'm not going to call it.
Well, okay, whatever it takes. I think we can probably get by. That senior outside hitter, Jeff Patak, Jeff's injured, but he expects to see some playing time this weekend. When we come back, Arnie will rejoin me, and we'll talk about the two matches this weekend at the Gates Center. Please stay with us.
Dr. Matthew Kubik is an architectural engineering professor at IPFW who utilizes his experience to teach his students one-on-one.
So it's really shoulder-to-shoulder learning that we're looking at problems together for the first time.
Dr. Kubik also is the director of the honors program at IPFW. His ability to teach on a personal level allows him to educate to the needs of his honors students.
They want more conversation. They want a closer contact with professors. They want interactive learning in the classroom.
He is thankful for the advantages of a combined classroom of young students and students who are returning to college after years in the workplace.
That mix of students creates a classroom environment that is exciting, that's vibrant.
IPFW, the right school, right here, right now.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. Our sponsor for this segment is Marathon Oil, which I think Marathon Oil is headquartered in Findlay, Ohio.
Correct.
And Findlay, Ohio is the town in the U.S. of America with the highest number of millionaires per capita.
Well, my only question about that is, does Alco distribute that far to the
Well,
east?
we'll have to find out.
Yeah?
Well, I know that when we go over to Findlay to play Findlay College, who's joined our conference, we lower the number of millionaires per capita.
Significantly.
Significantly, that's right. Well, Jeff seems, for someone who sat out the fall, and I know how intense he is as a competitor, he seemed pretty loose today.
Well, if you had 7 or 8 foot of snow in your backyard, you'd be pretty loose too. You know, you had to sit around and look at one another for 3 or 4 days. He called me, because he missed the first day of practice, he called me and he said, "We're not plowed out yet. Our addition is still buried. I'm still out walking to get milk." I said,
Actually,
"Yeah,
it wasn't
right."
milk.
Yeah, huh?
That's what he told you, milk?
Yeah, right.
Well, he just admitted here to our millions of viewers that it was not milk he was going for.
I'm quite sure that it wasn't 2%.
Well, we are playing at home, opening at home. Pretty important matches, or pretty big matches, I should say. We've got Long Beach State on Friday night, Concordia College, which beat us for the first time last year, on Saturday night. And while they're not conference matches, those are two rather powerful teams.
Well, Mark, it kind of goes back into tradition we had in the early 90s. Remember when we had it used to be the Fort Wayne National Bank Tournament, and we had 4 big teams in here. UCLA was in here when '94, and
Said they'd never come back.
And-
It was
and-
about 40
and-
below wind chill.
and
that
they
year.
haven't come back either. But if you remember that event, that was a great event. Well, we're trying to get back into that kind of a mode where we open up the season with maybe one of those real strong named West Coast teams, and of course, Long Beach has been really good about going back and forth with us, and I think maybe USC, maybe we're getting close to that same kind of an arrangement with them, and so it's just a nice way for us to open the season playing a big name team that people can relate to, and of course our kids, we don't have trouble getting our kids motivated for the first game of the season.
Well, I think they'll be motivated. They've not had a lot of time to play together, especially with 2 major injuries, right?
Well, but you remember these kids, we didn't have any seniors. Obviously Dennis is new, so that's the part we have to get figured out in regards to our offense, but offensive systems are the same. I'm not real concerned about that. My biggest concern right now would be our first contact, our ability to serve the ball, pass the ball, and maybe play some defense with some quality control, so that Dennis will get to a lot of balls, and we'll get a chance to swing. Now, how long Matt and Jeff can hold up is, of course, another story.
Dennis is pretty quick then.
He
with
is
his
really
feet.
quick. You cannot tip the ball in front of him. He's going to get the ball. He's really quick. He's very, very athletic.
What's Long Beach like? We played out there last year, right?
Yeah. They've played twice already this spring. They lost to I guess spring, we call it winter. They lost to Pepperdine last weekend, and they lost to Santa Barbara in 5. So we don't have any tape, but obviously we have numbers and stuff. We have the tape from last year. The setter's the same, the opposite the same, one of the middle's the same, one of the outsides is the same. So we at least have that much tape on them. Of course, they have the same thing on us, except our setter's a lot different, so that'll change our personality a great deal. Middles are big. Opposite's pretty big. Setter's not real big. He's not, but he's a nice player. They'll be bigger than us. But I think we have an advantage. They're not flying in here till Thursday, late Thursday, and so that means we're going to catch them off the rebound of that 3-hour time difference. Coach kind of likes that a lot.
Yeah, that'll help. Then on Saturday night we have Concordia College, of course, our old friend Yvonne Marquez.
Yvonne will be here.
Yvonne will be here.
I have no clue what his team is like. His team is like
Changes every year, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an international revolving door. So who knows what Yvonne's going to have or where they're going to come up with. The fortunate thing for us is that they play at Ball State on Friday night, and I've already talked to Coach Walton, and we'll trade some stuff back and forth on Sunday or Saturday morning. So we'll at least have some ideas there.
And both these matches will be at 7 o'clock in the Gate Sports Center Friday night and Saturday night. And if you can't make it out, although the driving will be good, no bad weather predicted, you can watch it here on Channel 56. We have the Iron Man himself, Mike Moss, doing the play-by-play, and Ryan Perrott, I think, will be assisting him.
Well, Mark, I'm just really, really happy. We had a kind of a hiatus there of our games being televised, and I'm really, really happy that our games are going to be televised again, and certainly the dynamic duo of Mike and Ryan. We can't hardly go wrong.
And we heard they're going to mic you, so you have to remain calm on the bench.
That will never happen. If you think they're going to put a mic on me again, forget it. No, you didn't. I had that done for me when I coached an Olympic Festival team, and that will never happen again.
That was a big mistake.
That will not happen again. The Ball State basketball coach maybe can talk to the media during the game, but not me.
I guess it's time to sign off. It's time to sign off. Our sponsors were Marathon Oil, Alco Distributing, Freedom Financial, Fujifilm, and who am I forgetting? I'll remember them by next. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Yeah, there you go.
For head coach Arnie Ball, outside hitter Jeff Patak, the whole crew here at Channel 56. This is Mark Franke. So long, and join us again next week. Welcome to the Arnie Ball Show. This week we're going to recap a very exciting weekend of volleyball here at the Gates Center. Our guest is Athletic Director Mark Pope. And in the final segment, we're going to talk about our upcoming trip to Halifax, Nova Scotia, where a blizzard is predicted. So please stay with us. You won't want to miss this show. Welcome to the Arnie Ball Show. I'm your host, Mark Franke, and this week, for this segment, our sponsors are Fujifilm and Farm Bureau, which now is posted up in front of that camera so I don't foul it up like I did last week.
I got some real calls last week about you messing up our sponsors, so don't do that again.
Well, the only one I got right was Alco, right?
Well,
We did talk about that at length.
We have stock in that one, so
Yes.
we get that one right.
Actually, after last week, I think we probably needed some of that based on having to go 5 in both those matches.
That was Mike Moss's fault, by the way.
Yeah, you know, I think we now are 0 for 2 when they broadcast Saturday night, so we're 1 for 1 with Moss back
One
there.
for one with Moss doing that, but you know, I really think that he just wanted some more practice on the air, so that's the reason we went 5 games.
Well, I'm really glad that volleyball went to this rally scoring to reduce the amount of time for matches, so we kept Friday night down to 2.5 hours.
I couldn't believe it. I'm looking at the videotape the next day, and the clock on the wall, which does keep time here, which is kind of amazing.
Not,
in
never
the Gate Center,
accurately, but it does
at least
have
it keeps
some,
time. It's going it's like 9:50, and I'm going, wait a minute, matches are supposed to be less time, not more time.
It didn't seem that long, did it?
Well, we were pretty busy.
Yeah, we were kind of busy. We won the first 2. Long Beach came back. They really played well in Game 3. They deserved to win that one, there's no doubt about it. But then Game 4, we had a couple opportunities to win it all, and we just couldn't quite get the job done. And then Game 5, of course, with Maddie going down early in that game, which was, I think, took the wind out of all of our sails, so to speak. We still ended up got caught up to 13-13 in Game 5 and just couldn't quite get it done, could we?
Just poor coaching.
Well, not by all the coaches.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I looked up and down the bench. I just thought it was pretty poor coaching by the whole staff.
Well, it's probably on your side of the bench because Coach Johnson and we were on top of everything.
Believe me, I've looked at the videotape. I'm not sure that's
You're not
correct.
sure that's true.
Videotape never lies.
Now the videotape's watching the coaches.
That's right.
Doing a performance evaluation.
The game wasn't very well played. No, that's not true. Actually, first 2 games I thought we played really well. Game 3, as you alluded to, they played well. Game 4, we had multiple chances to win the game. And to Long Beach's credit, Jeff went up and stuck a ball, remember, on the left side.
Yeah.
Kid made a great play. They turned the ball and scored. We made a great serve, and the kid hit an overpass that was clearly out of bounds, and one of our players reached back and played it, and so we didn't. I mean, that was to win the match. So, we could have won the thing, and you always say those kind of things when you lose, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But it was a great way to start the season for sure.
Actually, most of the time we play Long Beach, they're really exciting matches like that. We've got a long history of that with them. They're fun to play against.
Yeah, it's fun for you maybe, but if I've lost to them the last 2 times, that's not much fun.
Well, okay, at race time, maybe the athletic director's coming on the next segment. I'll suggest he adjust your salary for those losses. How's that?
I got to think about that.
You got to think about that.
I'm going to have a rebuttal on that one on the last segment.
You may need a rebuttal, right?
Yeah, I'll have something to say about that.
Well, we've had some, and we haven't lost all those close ones. We've beaten them before, too. I think the nice thing about the Friday night match, of course, we had a big crowd, which helped. The game was well played by both teams, hard played by both. You didn't see anybody kind of going on cruise control. There weren't many controversial calls. Both you and Coach Knipe maintained your cool in terms of the officials. Coach Knipe, of course, always does, but in your case, I was rather proud of you.
I did well. I behaved.
You behaved.
With the new boss, I got to behave a little more.
Is that the case? Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's certainly a benefit.
Saturday night was a lot more fun because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there, that's right.
Carry on.
You did get a little more out of control
Yeah,
on
that's
Saturday
true. Well,
night.
with Yvonne, how can you not?
That's right. Saturday night, we decided, since winning the first 2 didn't do us any good on Friday night, we'd reverse that, lost the first 2, looked pretty pathetic on Saturday night, and then came back and won the last 3.
Well, certainly, I thought it was a carryover from the coaching staff on the first 2 games on Saturday night. Once I got you guys organized and headed in the right direction, we made a nice turnaround, Actually, it was a substitution we made that probably made the turnaround. So now that I think about it,
Carter had something to do with it.
who knows? And of course, people ask me what I said to the kids on Saturday night between games 2 and 3. And I said the same thing I said the night before. We got to keep playing. We got to be patient. Just got to keep working to execute at a more even level of play, and not allow Concordia in particular, number 14, just to totally control the match. Our kids came back out and steadied out, and once Matt McCarter came in and served the ball really well, and Ryan Staley loosened up a little bit and played really well, kind of changed the complexion of our team.
We did toughen up our serving, and that, of course, put more pressure on them, and that team played well as long as you didn't put pressure on them. But that's exactly what Joel Walton of Ball State told you in his scouting report from the night before, right?
That's exactly right.
Keep pressure on them, you can beat them.
Yeah, we shared scouting reports back and forth, so I get some of the credit for Ball State beating Long Beach, and of course he probably will take very little credit for us winning, but we'll give him some. But that's exactly what happened. The longer we went, now maybe it's the long van ride, because I know they drove vans out here, but the longer they went, the more trouble they had of handling the pressure. Even the kid who was their star player, number 14, the kid from, I think he was from the Dominican Republic, but the kid was really a nice player. He sailed some balls out of bounds. Our kids just steadied out, and as I talked to you before about Matt playing really well and Ryan, but certainly we have to talk about the play of Angel Ruiz over the weekend. Angel was just really best I've ever seen him play since he's been here.
Dave Schmidlin is convinced he ought to be Player of the Week.
Yeah, well, they gave it to somebody else, and I think Angel should have won over the kid they gave it to, but obviously we're not into it for those kind of things. But Angel's performance, all-around performance, is as good as anybody we've had in a long, long period of time. When you look at the fact that he served well, he blocked well, his offense was very good, and we got him passing. I mean, he's doing everything.
Yep, and that's nice to have. We're going to need that now. As much as I don't want to talk about this, we're going to have to talk about Maddie's injury.
Well, it's not good. When I went with him to the hospital on Sunday and we looked at the MRI, the MRI was not the same as it was when he did the first injury. So I'm going, maybe we lucked out here and he stretched that ligament and he'll be able to rehab and play. Of course, Dr. Pritchard calls me then Sunday afternoon and goes, he tore it again. He will have to have surgery. So Maddie will have to take a medical red shirt for the year and will not play the rest of the season. And
that is really a blow from the standpoint of the way we played Friday night against a very good Long Beach team. I think our fans were looking forward to an exciting year. But we just have too many injuries.
It'll make it a little more difficult. We may need to buy some more Alco stock before the year's over.
We have to buy something before the year's over. Well, so Maddie's out. That means you've got, in fact, on Saturday night you rested Jeff as well because he's just coming back from an injury. And had Aris and Ryan in there. And then Matt came in, Matt McCarter, and they got the job done, didn't they?
Well, those guys are going to have to step up because we're going to continue to rest Jeff. And if he doesn't respond to the point that he can be healthy by the middle of the season, we would seriously consider redshirting him as well. Because the doctor told us that Jeff might go before Maddie, and of course Maddie went. So I'm really concerned about Jeff re-injuring his knee leg.
You have to be. It's just a terrible thing, and anybody who saw it knows exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
When we come back, Athletic Director Mark Pope will join me, and we'll talk a little bit about volleyball, a little bit about the basketball weekend coming up, and we'll give him probably about 14 seconds to say anything he wants to about Arnie Ball. So please stay with us.
Today's teenagers, the way people talk, you'd think they can't do anything right. It's just not so. We get to know over 300,000 kids a year, smart kids, who know what they want. They believe in themselves, and they believe in America. Some go straight to college. Others choose to learn leadership, discipline, courage, and commitment first with us. Today's military, making a stronger America, one good kid at a time.
A new century is coming, and with it, 1,000 questions. Will your family ever be in harm's way? Will a small town in Texas be hit with a hurricane? Will your daughter ever need a new kind of blood treatment? We have no crystal ball for the world that awaits. Just one promise. We'll be there.
Dr. Matthew Kubik is an architectural engineering professor at IPFW who utilizes his experience to teach his students one-on-one.
So it's really shoulder-to-shoulder learning that we're looking at problems together for the first time.
Dr. Kubik also is the director of the honors program at IPFW. His ability to teach on a personal level allows him to educate to the needs of his honors students.
They want more conversation. They want a closer contact with professors. They want interactive learning in the classroom.
He is thankful for the advantages of a combined classroom of young students and students who are returning to college after years in the workplace.
That mix of students creates a classroom environment that is exciting, that's vibrant.
IPFW, the right school, right here, right now.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. This segment is sponsored by Alco Distributors, one of my favorites, and Freedom Financial. And our guest this week is somebody not normally on this show because he's wearing a suit. That probably surprises nearly everybody back at home. Mark Pope, the new athletic director, and since you're the boss, can we do something about this Day-Glow orange sign we've got back here? What's with the orange?
Well, you know, I was on the earlier segment for the Mastodon Spotlight, and that's really kind of a neat sign.
That's black and white, isn't it?
I walked into this thing, and my goodness. Are those the new team colors for IPFW?
Those colors are rather old.
Okay. Yeah.
We were orange at one time, I think.
Not that I recall, but that's fine.
Well, Mark, this is your first year as athletic director, and you've, of course, came to some volleyball games last year, and so you had a sense of the kind of competition that we play, and I'm sure you're happy with Friday night, even though we lost not only the game but also a player. But then Saturday night, we didn't have that big a crowd, but a team that was without two starters came back and came from behind to win. So it looks like we've made some great strides since last year.
Well, you know, we started this year by coining the phrase, "the tradition begins," and there are a lot of traditions that are beginning this year, moving into Division I, attracting a crowd, getting people to come out and see just how we compete, and hopefully coming back game after game. But Arnie's had that tradition for years and years. He's played the top Division I opponents in men's volleyball forever, and we're all learning from Arnie as to how we do this. All the things that we're trying to do for our upcoming basketball weekends, we're taking a cue from what he's done. I think that the way that the volleyball matches are played in terms of the rally scoring has got to be the most exciting method of scoring volleyball that I've ever seen, and you've just really got to come and watch one of these matches.
So you just went through 30 seconds talking how great Arnie was. Did he pay you to do that? Is that why you're on the show today?
That's right, and of course none of that will be reflected on his evaluation at the end of the year.
It's just wins and losses, right?
That's right. That's all we're talking about.
That's all we're talking about. Let's move away from volleyball momentarily because we do have a big weekend at home. The volleyball team's going to be up in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and by the way, we got a report today that this is Tuesday when we're taping this, and we're flying out Wednesday. A blizzard is coming through Nova Scotia on Wednesday, so that's appropriate.
And darn the luck, I really wanted to go on that trip with Arnie and his team. I think Halifax in January just sounds like the perfect spot to attend. But
well, we are going to Newark later, so you can certainly come along on the Newark trip.
Halifax, Newark. I'll get back to you on that.
Get back to us on that.
You know, it's funny. I never did get invited to the Las Vegas trip earlier this fall.
There was probably a reason. I think there's an NCAA rule about who we take along on trips like that. But you have to stay home for a reason this weekend because we have a big basketball weekend, and I was just in a meeting with some university officials, and the director of student life, Lori Beth Royce, was saying we're really pushing to get the attendance up this weekend, and you know how student government can really push to get that done. Brian Miller and some of those guys can really get some excitement going.
Well, if we can get Brian a little bit more ratcheted up in his excitement level, I think we'll be okay. For those of you who were not in attendance on Friday night, Brian just did a great job. I'll tell you, he was wonderful, and we expect him to do the same thing this weekend. But it is true. We have some conference representatives coming in to take a look at us, and we want this community to show up as much as they can in numbers on Saturday, the 19th, for the 2 games. It's a men's and women's doubleheader. And then about 9-10 days later on the 28th over at the Coliseum for another men's and women's doubleheader. I don't want to do anything artificial and change the way that our game plan is set up, the way the games are structured and the way things are done, because that's going to create an unfair impression of what IPFW is about to the conference representatives. But we do want to have a good crowd there. We'd love to have a crowd the size and the spirit of last Friday night.
That was which night again? For the doubleheader?
Oh, well, the doubleheader that's coming up this weekend is Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. The men play Illinois-Chicago. And right after that game, about 3:15, 3:30 on Saturday afternoon, the women will play Toledo.
Fortunately, we've got people back in the booth back there. That might have been Mike Moss who told us. Are we televising?
I can't tell you whether 56 is or not.
Well, we were really disappointed. We thought they were going to go to Halifax with us, but they've decided to stay and do basketball instead.
That's hard to believe. But
somebody must have ordered them to do that because they never would have chosen that. So we'll have some television coverage. An afternoon doubleheader for basketball, probably that's more traditional basketball than it is for volleyball, but we've had some trouble when we played in the afternoons getting crowds. So obviously you have to work against that as well.
You bet, and we discussed this with our staff early on, and all of the coaches have jumped right in and helped to get the crowd there that we think we'll have on Saturday. They've talked to their various civic organizations and church groups and friends and neighbors and of course to the members, the players on their teams, and said, boy, we'd really like to have you there on Saturday afternoon for these 2 games. And it is a long afternoon, but it's funny, one of the things I've heard over and over in Fort Wayne is that there's nothing to do in town. We can't find anything to do. Well, here we have the best of Division I basketball all Saturday afternoon, men's and women's. We'll play them just as quickly as we can, back to back. There'll be a lot of things to do. I know Brian has ratcheted up all kinds of events and timeout contests and things like that. So there'll be a lot of things going on during those 2 games. And we're also going to have a tuition shot during the game where some lucky student's going to get a chance to shoot for free tuition at IPFW. So we'll make it an event. Well,
I remember from the night at the Coliseum that it seemed like every time a whistle was blown, Brian was out there with something going on. Now, volleyball is a little harder for him to do that, but even this last weekend, their contests sometimes didn't get over fast enough between the games.
Well, I don't think Arnie took enough timeouts, and I've talked to him about that we need to put in more commercial events during the timeouts, so if he would stretch out those timeouts a little better. And I've also told Mike Joel to be a little bit slower in hitting that 1-minute counter down for the timeout so that we can stretch out our events a little bit more.
Actually, if Arnie got up and argued with the refs more, that would give you some time too.
Well, I'm not sure I want to encourage that.
He doesn't need encouragement, quite frankly.
I was very worried on Friday evening. He started to target in on one of our chairs, and I thought for sure that we'd lost it, and we're borrowing those anyway, so I had to caution him to kind of be a little bit careful about our rented chairs.
I did notice that they're plastic and supposedly non-breakable, right?
Right, and they do have a good flight pattern too,
yeah,
so
right.
you can get a good toss on them.
Well, Coach Midland's job this year is to keep him under control. We've decided that's his job because I've failed over the last 12 years of having any luck with that.
So we found new fresh meat to try and
That's right. Blame Dave if Arnie gets out of control. In fact, I was watching a basketball game once. I think it was basketball, and the head coach just went ballistic, was really making a jerk out of himself. And the commentator actually said, it's the assistant's job to prevent that from happening.
Is that right?
He actually said that on national TV.
It's funny, I haven't seen that in Dave's job description, but I'll take another look at it.
Take a look at it. So we've got this Saturday a doubleheader, and who are we playing again?
The men play Illinois-Chicago, University of Illinois-Chicago, which
1.
I think is a Horizon League team, at 1, and then the women play Toledo right afterwards, about 3:30, 3:15, 3:30.
And Toledo's a MAC team.
Yes, that's right.
The basketball teams have certainly had some tough scheduling this year. They've been on the road a lot because we haven't gotten into a conference. They've played some very good teams. In fact, you were saying the men's schedule is one of the toughest in the nation.
Number 11.
Number 11?
And I've compared those up against the other Division I independents, and you take a look at these, and Texas Corpus Christi is about 188, and Texas Pan Am's about 212, and I look at ours and we're 11th, and I went into Doug Knoll's office and I said, you know, what the heck are you doing here? And he said, well, that's just going to make us tougher in the second half. So, and the good news is we have as many home games as away in the second half of the season now. We play 7 on the road and 7 at home. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing some more W's.
And Bruce Patterson, of course, new women's coach. They've pulled out some close wins, lost some close ones, so his team's slowly getting better, I think.
You know, it's really funny. I keep asking Bruce who the shooting coach is because I either want to reward them or fire them, and I can't find who the shooting coach is because one game they'll shoot 60% from the field, and the next you can't divide their shooting percentage.
I think he told me after a loss once it's Alan.
Is that Al? Okay.
Al Buck is the
Great.
shooting coach.
As long as it's
after
not
a
you or
loss.
me or Arnie.
That's right. Well, don't ask, after we lose, don't ask Arnie who was responsible for the fiasco either, because I think he has a list prepared. That's Athletic Director Mark Pope. When we return, Arnie will come back and we'll talk a little bit about this upcoming weekend for the volleyball team. Please stay here.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, it kills over 1,500 people every year and injures 71,000 more. Inadequate sleep has been linked to health and safety risks, even premature death. But today, new treatments are helping millions get the sleep they need. So talk to your doctor or take our free risk assessment on the web at sleepfoundation.org. Sleep deprivation. It's real, it's dangerous, and it's more treatable than ever.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. This segment is sponsored by Dairy Queen and Marathon Ashland Oil.
Hey, that's good. You did good.
I can read. I just got new glasses, too. I can actually now see about 10 feet in front of me rather successfully.
Can we make the board smaller then?
The board is fine. It's reading the numbers on the court. In fact, a couple of years ago when we played Long Beach State, they had their yellow or gold kind of uniforms on with white numbers. I couldn't tell. I couldn't read the numbers.
Well, Long Beach did that on purpose.
Yeah, just probably.
Just to mess you up. You know they like to play tricks on you.
Yeah, but
all those California guys like to do that to you.
Well, I know they take advantage of our age, don't they? All these teams come in with these young coaches, and we're sitting there and got our canes and have to, leave the middle of the match to file our Social Security and.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, actually, we got some bad news during the break. This is pretty bad. On Saturday, when we're televising the basketball games, apparently Ryan Perrott will not be able to make it to work with the Ironman Mike Moss for the women's game. So he's got Billy Gernon, the baseball coach, helping him. Now, if anybody knows less about most things than I do, it's probably Billy Gernon. You know what little bit of ratings we had is down the pooper. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. All Billy can talk about is spitting, scratching, and doing hand signals, most of which look kind of obscene to the casual observer. And
I would make sure he has a hat on too.
Then, yeah, you definitely want a hat on him.
Yeah.
And it's almost worth. You think we can get it up there in Halifax, Channel 56?
We're going to try. We'll
come over a satellite feed or something.
Satellite dish come up. We'll see how many times he goes.
We better put the old video recorders on. We'll definitely want to watch that. And then, of course. Charlie Washington joins Mike for the men's game, so it should be a nice
Mike's
afternoon.
Mike's going to do a doubleheader?
Oh, every time
Channel
every time Channel 56 turns on a camera, Mike Moss shows up. We're going to have to find him a real life one of these days.
Or a real job.
Or a real job. Or send him off to ESPN, right?
Yeah, we could take him up to Nova Scotia with us. I'll bet he can find a job up there.
Yeah. Shoveling snow, it sounds like. So
helping us get home, what it sounds.
We fly out midday Wednesday, and you said and this is Tuesday, of course, that we're taping this. So we fly out midday on Wednesday, and the prediction is for a blizzard.
That's what the internet said this morning.
You have any idea what it says on Monday when we try to come back?
It didn't go that far out.
Oh. That worries me more than getting there. I don't care if we're delayed getting there. But
I was kind of hoping we could stay for a while.
Yeah, we don't have to play till Friday night. So
that's right. No big deal.
We don't
have any school on Monday, so.
We might as well spend 24 hours in an airport terminal somewhere.
I think Dan Fox is excited about staying a little longer. Probably not, but.
Yeah, well, he's young. He can handle it.
Yeah, he's not only is he young, but he's got plenty of insulation to stay up there for a while. The rest of us kind of be a little cold.
Well, not all of us. I can handle the cold a little better than you can.
Well, that's true. I can't argue that.
That's why I do it. I try to put on my winter coat of weight for the volleyball season, given where you schedule us.
Well,
what are we going there for in January?
It's that big budget we have that we have to eat them fries all day. We're all using them fries and that fried stuff. And
Actually, my no
we
fries
blow up.
rule on the road, when I say I'm not going to eat fries all season long, I can get through the season without gaining weight.
Well, you know you can't stick to that.
Oh, I can't.
No, you can't.
And actually, I probably ought to tell everybody right now, Coach Johnson and I have a bet as to who loses the most weight during the season. Now, we'll both probably gain.
You know what? That means more for me, so I'm kind of excited about it. That's kind of okay.
I'll just pocket my meal money and not eat the whole time we're gone, right?
So why are we going to Nova Scotia anyhow?
You scheduled it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh. Must have been one of those down times when I just needed something
You were
to do.
depressed or something.
Flipping through looking for something.
And we're coming back on Monday, which is university holiday, so I get to work a 3-day weekend that's supposed to be off.
Well, you enjoy it, though.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So
we're playing 4, maybe 5 times. We're playing Dalhousie. We're playing Queens. We're playing, I know the Dalhousie alums. Hope they're all like over 50. So
yeah,
by then we're going to be tired.
They'll probably be the best team there, more than likely.
And who else are we playing?
York.
Oh, York.
Good old Wally Daiba, one of my buddies up there in Toronto.
We haven't played York in years.
Long time. He doesn't like it because we take all those kids out of Canada.
We got one.
I know, but he doesn't like it. He's been trying to get us to come to their tournament for years. I keep saying, no. Now you watch. When we get up there, it's the first thing he's going to say to me. Why don't you come to our tournament instead of coming to this one?
Well, actually, we have 2. We have Ryan Perrott. But Ryan's eligibility ended about 6 years ago, and he's still hanging around. So.
You know what? I talked to his mom about that on Friday night. She said, I don't think he's ever going to leave Fort Wayne. I said, we've been trying to get him out of here. He just won't leave.
Well, he's got this career in Channel 56 doing
that's right.
broadcasting. He gets to work
that.
with Mike Moss, which...
That's the reason he's still
no, he's probably Saturday, instead of broadcasting, he's updating his resume. That's probably what he's doing.
We'll have to have Mike answer that one.
So what are we going to say about our tournament up at Dalhousie?
Actually, it's going to work out okay for these young kids, because these young kids are going to get to play a lot if we get there against good competition. You know, and it doesn't. These are exhibition matches as far as the NCAA is concerned. So they're just opportunities for us to play a lot of kids. Counts on our record as far as the university is concerned, but not as far as the NCAA is concerned. So since this has happened to Maddie, and we take these kids up there, we're going to play these young kids and give them some experience.
Well, it only seems fair that if we're going to play the young kids, we ought to have the young coach do it all.
Schmidlin?
Schmidlin, yeah.
Well, we can send him to the gym, and we can go to the. Maybe they got one of those curling things like they had up there in Winnipeg.
Yeah, in Winnipeg, yeah.
Yeah, we could go to the curling.
Is a great sport. We ought to get. Is that an NCAA sport?
Well, I don't think
we could probably add that one fairly inexpensively.
Mark needs something to champion. We could let him champion that.
Yeah, curling. Curling is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I was excited with that.
So, but you
kind
know,
of bowling on ice.
That's exactly what it was. And they have an Alco distributor up there as well. But I think I just think it's going to work out okay for our kids to play a lot, and hopefully, we'll avoid injury and come back with a couple W's.
Well, here's the worst news of all. Our time just expired.
Wow, already? It goes by so quickly.
Almost not talk about volleyball in this last segment.
Yeah.
For head coach Arnie Ball, our sponsors Fujifilm, Farm Bureau, Alco, Freedom Financial, Dairy Queen, and Marathon Ashland Oil, our guest, Athletic Director Mark Pope. This is Mark Franke. So long. Thanks for watching, and please join us again next week. Welcome to this week's Arnie Ball Show. We're going to review our tournament up in Halifax, Nova Scotia. We're going to look forward to a conference match, our first one of the season, against Findlay this Saturday night at the Gates Center. And our guest will be Mitch Dreisbach. So please stay with us. Welcome to this week's Arnie Ball Show. I'm your host, Mark Franke, and our sponsors for this segment are Fujifilm and Farm Bureau Insurance. Arnie, we spent, 6 days on the road, 3 of which were spent in airports, and 2 of which were spent playing. I left 1 day off, you and I, and Coach Schmidlin kind of force-marched ourselves up the hill to the Citadel in Halifax, and you were the one who said it hurt after we were done.
What I want to know is, yesterday, we're taping the show on Tuesday, yesterday, I left Halifax at 4:30 in the morning, Indiana time. You left at 7:30 in the morning, Indiana time, and we arrived in the airport in Fort Wayne at the very same time. How'd you do that?
I can't help it if you're old and slow. You're probably still tired from that trip up the Citadel Mountain, Citadel Hill.
Coach Schmidlin told me that in the Boston airport, you guys had to change terminal, and they had to wait on you 5 or 6 times because you were so out of breath trying to get from one terminal to the other. Is that correct?
Well, that was Boston. Yeah, when we got into Boston, they said the conveyor belt was broken. We had to go through customs, claim our bags, and then go to some terminal which was in another state. It's raining. We're outside walking around the construction site. So we get there. Then in Chicago, they divert our plane to a different gate, which is in Iowa. And we got to go all the way to the other gate. Get there, and we think we're going to be late. Fortunately, the plane is delayed, or we would have missed our connection like you missed yours in Toronto. And then after that all happened, they said, we've changed the gate on this one. We had to go back past.
But at least you made your connections.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight this weekend.
Well, we get to the hotel on Thursday, and we walk out and we look at that great big hill that goes out the front, and that's where we got to go to get any kind of meals or anything. And you're looking at that going, oh my goodness, and I'm going, this is going to hurt, and it does. My calves still hurt from walking up those hills.
Actually, mine started hurting this morning. This is Tuesday. Didn't hurt till today. I don't know whether I was just in jet lag. No, I don't think it was jet lag, John. I think it was. I think it just takes me longer to feel pain anymore.
Well, now that we've got all that over with, yesterday was a very trying day, and I'm real proud of the kids. For the most part, they were pretty understanding because we spent a lot of time in the Toronto airport because we missed that connection. So, anyhow.
Well, we also lost our trainer, Dan Fox, in the Halifax airport.
You lost him?
We lost him.
Well, we lost him the day on Sunday. Remember, we had that day off on Sunday? We lost him Sunday.
He was in the Maritime Museum, which was open. He didn't even tell us that.
Well, we had more fun than he did anyhow, so it's
Yeah,
probably
that's right,
okay.
so.
Walking up that
I don't
hill.
know how you can lose somebody that big in a small airport. We managed it.
We lost him twice
Yeah.
in the airport, and whatever. It's fun to take Dan along. He's always a treat, huh?
And speaking of losing, we also lost 4 volleyball matches. So
Did we really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
We played Friday and Saturday.
See, I put that out of my mind
When
already.
we weren't marching up hills or waiting in airports, we were on the volleyball floor losing.
Well, if you remember on Friday, of course, I knew it was going to be trouble when we got in there on Thursday night. We arrived late Thursday night. We're supposed to go Wednesday, so we miss a whole day. We come in at Thursday night. You and some other, however many people were jammed into that 15-passenger van with all of our bags. I'm in this small minivan, with 2 players and tons of bags, and I'm straddled what appears to be over the hump in the middle of the seat. And this guy's driving, and it's snowing hard. and we're Mario Andretti in it. Man, we're sliding all over the interstate, can't see. I'm petrified for my life, and we pass you guys. We fly right by you guys. I'm going to die. This is a trip from hell and back. And it turned out to be that way as we lose 4 games, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, we won the very first game. Very first set we played. Of course, they played 25-point rules. They play real volleyball up there like it's supposed to be played.
Actually, I think we ought to play to maybe 10. It would help us out sometimes.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say about our team?
I'm trying to shorten this. I'm trying to say that we need to shorten this down.
You're trying to say our team is not very good?
I think we just ought to go out, flip the coin, and call. Although we finally won a coin toss at Halifax. We've lost every other coin toss.
Yeah, but we won the coin toss and elected to serve, so we ended up losing. I don't think that's true, but sounds good for the show.
Yeah, Josh.
Anyhow, we won the first game, and of course, then you remember what happens after that.
Their coach contested the match.
Yeah, their coach, because we played 2 different sets of rules. They played the first match with a different timeout scheme, and then all of a sudden we're going to play the second one with what we thought was the right scheme, we thought. And she contests, and she wants to contest the match over a stupid timeout rule, and so I'm going, you know, this is going to be a long day.
Yeah.
And so we end up losing the first match 3-1 to the team that ended up second, Queens, that ends up second in the tournament. And then we get to the second match to play, and of course what happens in the second match?
In the medical terminology used by our trainer, Ryan Staley got his nose whacked. I'm here trying to decide if after all the blood finally stopped flowing, whether the thing was broken or not. Dave says, man, that thing is disfigured. It was laying way over to one side. Figure it's got to be broken, and Dan says, it ain't broken, it's just whacked.
That's modern medical terminology.
Right.
That whack. So fans, just look up whack in your medical dictionary, and you'll understand it's getting your nose bent clear over to here by somebody's elbow. You know, that happens in a second or third game, something like that. And of course we're laughing after it's over in the hotel that night, looking at the video, because I didn't know it's Smidlin pays attention much better than I do. We watch the tape, and Staley is down like this, but the play's going on.
And he
so
jumps up and
jumps
blocks.
the block, blood's running all over the place.
I saw him do that. I saw him go down like this, and I thought, what's wrong? And he jumps on block. I figure there's nothing wrong.
So
then he comes off, and he's just dripping blood everywhere. It's gushing.
Blood. Thank goodness Dan was along. We'd have been in trouble on this trip. So that happens, and of course Ryan can't play anymore, and he swallows a bunch of blood and is really ill that night. I mean, he looked like death warmed over. Really shouldn't have played the next day, but to his credit, played both matches. So we end up losing that match under a protest and the fact that we get somebody's nose, what we thought was broke. I guess it's not broke. We're going to have it x-rayed today, and if it needs to be put in place, Dan's told me it's okay if I do it, so no problem. So that gets us through the first day, and then we have a lot more adventures on the second day too.
Didn't the thumb happen at the end of the first day?
Was that no? That was the second day.
No, it was the end of the first day.
First day?
Yeah.
Was the first time, Dennis Santiago got hit on his thumb, but he's had bruised already. You know, and he's crying, the tears are running down his cheek, and I'm calling him a wuss and everything else because Staley's on the other set, and he's got a broken nose. I almost had to come out of retirement.
That must have been what got Dennis up and on the floor. Right?
Yeah.
He was all bandaged up the next day, though.
He was bandaged up, and we had to have a little conversation the second day because he was warming up like he was going to, we need to amputate his thumb, and I said, you know, either you're going to play or you're not going to play. Oh, I want to play, I want to play. So he played. And we survived.
We're going to get that x-rayed today, too. This is Tuesday.
That's correct.
Dan doesn't think that's broken. I forget what his terminology was for that.
Had to be whacked of some kind.
Wonk. Yes. Oh, well. I guess when we come back, Mitch Dreisbach will be here, our new freshman opposite, and we'll see what his reaction is to this weekend. He didn't get hurt, by the way.
That we know of.
That way, so far as we know. That's right. So keep it here on Channel 56, please.
Physically, he didn't get hurt.
With over 30 years of dedication to his students, Professor of Geosciences Deepak Chowdhury recognizes the IPFW experience.
He doesn't spoon feed you all the information that you need. He mostly will give you all of the knowledge that you need in bits and pieces. And it's almost like a puzzle where he gives you all the pieces, and in the end you'll put it together and have the larger picture yourself. I really enjoy it. He's a great professor to work with and for.
IPFW is one of only 3 universities in the state to offer students hands-on experience with their own seismograph. This gives Dr. Chowdhury great pride, but it is the interaction with his students that has kept him teaching.
When the students understand the concept, what's happening, that glimmer of light in their eyes, that you cannot trade for any money. So that's the most important thing.
IPFW, the right school, right here, right now.
They came from every corner of the country. From small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few, dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still they come. Celebrate the 225-year history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. Our sponsors this segment are Alco and Freedom Financial. And probably for the first time in the history of the Arnie Ball Show, we actually had to start this segment 3 times. We fouled up twice. Which normally, people don't think we never restart because of all the follow-ups you have to listen to, but once in a while we do it so poorly that we have to restart. And since this is our guest's first appearance on the show, we wanted everything to be right. Mitch Dreisbach from Mishawaka, Indiana, a freshman opposite hitter. Mitch, you're a new freshman, or as some programs call him, a true freshman. You're first year at college. Out of Mishawaka, did you go to Mishawaka High School?
No, Penn High School.
Penn High School.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They've had a football team on occasion, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. I played in the football. I played wide receiver for the 2001 state championship. On the championship team.
How about that? I think, I'm trying to remember what year. Penn plays in the same division as Snyder does, right? 1A or?
No, 5A.
5A. They do it backwards there, don't they?
Yeah, lost in 98 to Snyder.
Yeah. Yeah, well, how about that? And I actually come from a football family, right? Didn't your brother play at Michigan State?
Both my brothers play football. One of my brothers, Scott, played at Michigan, and my other brother played linebacker at University of Kentucky.
At Kentucky?
Yeah.
And then you have a brother-in-law who also plays football. We were watching him the other day on TV.
Yeah, my brother-in-law plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as tight end for the Steelers. So,
you know, right after you left, we were all in this restaurant in downtown Halifax, and the players got up and left. Right after you left, your brother-in-law was caught for an illegal block. 15 yards. He nailed somebody in the back.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy, and he likes to push around people. So.
And what about the volleyball background of your family? You're not the first volleyball player, are you?
No, I have my oldest sister, Molly, played at the University of Kentucky and outside there, and then went on to play on the USA national team for a while, for 2 years, and then hurt her back. She had a herniated disc in her back, actually her second. She had one in college, and then the other one with the national team, and then had to stop doing that and settled down with Jeremy in Pittsburgh. So.
Is that where they live, in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, they live in right outside Pittsburgh, so it's easier for him to drive and get there and stuff. 2 children.
Well, you had a sister at the match 2 weekends ago, right?
Yeah, that was her. That was Molly.
Okay, I saw her and maybe one little one with her. Does she have 2?
She has 2. Yeah,
okay.
One was probably running around if I couldn't find him, but they came in for my birthday for the matches. So.
Well, how about that? That was nice. They saw some exciting volleyball, didn't they?
They did. They sure did. Yeah, it was fun on against Long Beach. That crowd was amazing. So.
What kind of high school volleyball did you play?
Our volleyball team, our men's volleyball team program started my freshman year. I had asked about it, and so they just threw something together, and it was a club team, first 3 years, and then my senior year, we ranked 3rd, finished 3rd in the state finals, and that's and I played club with Coach Schmidlin. I got plugged into his program with the Pineapple team out of here at Fort Wayne. So that's pretty much all I've done, and playing in the gyms and running around and with my sisters, you know. But I don't have much of a volleyball background, just I played football and stuff like that, but as much as volleyball, it's pretty much just watching and learning from my sisters.
Just the 1 year club then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what did you play in club?
I was playing the outside in club, and our team was pretty good. We had a lot of mental cases of guys, you know, just getting down on themselves and stuff like that. But it was fun. Coach Millen taught me a lot, and still is. And
was that instrumental in your choosing IPFW, or had you already?
I was at that time looking around, and I think when Coach Millen started coaching me, and we came out here to practice, we would practice at Gates on every Sunday. We'd take the hour and 45-minute drive down on Sundays and practice. Really, it showed me to the campus, and I got introduced to a couple of the guys and stuff like that in the weight room, and I really liked it. So it really was big in my choice to come to IPFW.
So were you hoping all along that perhaps you might be able to play volleyball in college, or did that just kind of fall together for you?
Yeah, it basically just kind of fell together. I mean, I didn't know with football if I could play football or go on and play volleyball or whatnot. It just came down to, wherever I'd like to go. I mean, the campus and the people, because I mean, you always have to think when you go and consider it in college where you're going to go if athletics wasn't a part of your daily life. And if I saw myself not playing volleyball, I would still be interested in this school, and it really had an impact on where I wanted to go.
What's your major?
Secondary education. I wanted to work with kids and be in the high school scene and be a teacher there. I'm not sure.
Teaching what?
I'm not sure about that yet.
I think you have to pick a subject when you go to secondary.
I think just I'm going to finish out my 4 or 5 years here, and then go to Purdue and get my physical education and get my teaching and coaching, and do that. Or maybe an English teacher, somewhere around there.
Well, I think, is it English teachers are always short of? There's something there's a shortage of, or no, it's math and science.
Might be math and science.
Yeah, math and science.
Not too good at
no math and science.
No.
Right? Well, you come onto campus and you join a program that's got quite a bit of history, yet you find it at a time when there are not a lot of upperclassmen. A lot of freshmen came in with your class. We've come off of only our second losing season in the history of the program. So obviously we're in a rebuilding status. And then right off the bat, find out that we're going to lose 2 starters to knee injuries.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I mean, come in here and I looked around and I didn't place myself in the starting 6. I figured it'd be a year for me to learn and to adjust, and I would give them back next year and fight for a position. I had no idea about where I'd be in the position I am right now, but I'm thrilled about it, and I think that getting pushed into it is making me grow faster than I want to, but you know, I mean, I guess I have to. And with these 2 guys, we saw them in the fall, you know, and Matt got hurt in the fall, and Jeff was doing okay, and then Jeff came down after diving for a ball, and I didn't think that they would be back this early. Definitely not to be playing against Long Beach. So I figured they'd be able to come back and be good later on in the season, but physical therapy went real well for them. And they came back, and they were fired up against Long Beach. Was really fired up, and the crowd was fired up. And so, and then it happened again, and I mean, I think it was smart to sit them down and let them regain all their strength in their legs and everything, and have them come back next year. So, but the guys that are filling the spots are definitely helping out the program, and we'll succeed this year.
What do you feel is something that you need to work on most in terms of your own game?
My mental status, I need to get stronger, and physically and mentally. But for the most part, mentally, I need to be able to step on the court and know that I can beat these guys, and that I'm not going to be able to be pushed around. I need to be a little more dynamic in things that I do, like in blocking and my attack and things like that. My defense, I'm a little slow on my defense, and pretty much a lot of things that I hear on a daily basis that I need to I need to work on. And I know I need to work on those things, and I'm working out real hard to do that.
Is there a technical skill or a part of the game that you feel that you're better at or more developed at or perhaps enjoy more than others?
Well, my attacking, my approach, my hitting, I like that. I mean, who doesn't like to be able to crush the ball and then hear the crowd? That I really enjoy, and I feel like with all the aspects of my game, that is probably my strongest aspect, my strongest skill. But again, then on the other side, I have right after you hit, you got to block. So my blocking's so-so, if I want to say that. I just need a lot of work on my blocking. So.
Have you had any trouble adapting to the opposite position where you're playing primarily behind the setter, you're getting back set, you're hitting on the right side, the ball comes across your body before you hit it? Sometimes players have trouble with that.
Yeah, in high school and in club I played outside and always had the ball coming from my right and crossing and just being able to swing at it right there. And I didn't know how well I'd be able to adjust to the right side and having the ball coming across my body from the left and being able to watch it all the way across. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it or how hard it would be to get it. But I have adjusted and I find it easier than the left side. I mean, I never had hit it from the right, so it's pretty easy and it's good.
You've got quite a few rather outstanding opposites in front of you in this program. Yeah. That should give you plenty of incentive to get better and put your name in the record books, right?
Hopefully. I got big shoes to fill.
Big shoes. That's freshman Mitch Dreisbach from Mishawaka, our new opposite. When we return, Arnie and I will talk a little bit about the Findlay match coming up this Saturday night at Gates, so please keep it here.
A Stargate. That's the door to other worlds that my character Tilk and the rest of my team use on Stargate SG-1. It's a door to exploration and exciting adventure. And education can provide you with a similar passageway to a world full of possibilities. So stay in school and graduate.
Have you saved a life today?
I took 2 flood victims to a shelter.
I donated a day's pay to help a family that lost everything in a fire.
Have you saved a life today?
I teach a class in infant CPR.
I donated a pint of blood.
Have you saved a life today?
No, but today somebody saved mine.
The American Red Cross. Together, we can save a life.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. Our sponsors this segment are Dairy Queen and Marathon Ashland Oil. This seems to be the week for follow-up, so we've had to restart this segment a couple of times. I guess I didn't have your mic turned on the first time, which
it's okay.
We were quite a way into it before we realized it, right?
When my stomach's growling, I better turn it back off.
So we play at home this Saturday night against Findlay College. Or is it Findlay University now?
Findlay University.
Yeah, we better keep that straight.
Yes, sir.
They are new to our conference. Last year we played them for the first time. And our sponsor, Marathon Ashland Oil, I believe, was founded in Findlay, Ohio.
I believe that's right. I think their world headquarters.
They may still be headquartered there. I know they still brag about having the highest number of millionaires per capita in that city.
I mean, I wouldn't know that. But I'm more than willing to find out and be one of them if they want to take me in.
Well, I don't think they do. They weren't happy with you last year. Remember that match we played up there?
I don't
It was
remember.
kind of an ugly match. It went forever. It went to 5, remember?
Did it really?
It went right down to the bitter end, and we managed to win, and they weren't happy with us.
Was that the one where the little referee was up there on that box because she couldn't see over the net? Was that the one?
I think that was the one.
Oh, I remember that.
Their coach got all upset, too. And he got upset when he played here, too.
Well, he gets upset
Maybe it's just an unhappy person.
Let's hope we can make him more unhappy on
That's
Saturday
right.
night.
We can encourage that.
The way our season's going, we might make his day.
So that will be, of course, televised here on Channel 56. We have Mike Moss and Ryan Perrott, I think, will be doing that play-by-play and color commentary.
I don't know. Nobody will do color with Mike anymore, so we might have to do it from the bench.
Last Saturday, he's they did both basketball games, and neither Ryan or Charlie Washington showed up to help him. So I guess
Ought to begin to tell Mike something, don't you think?
Mike ought to get the message one of these days that nobody wants to work with him.
I volunteered. I said I'd help him with the basketball game. They didn't accept my volunteerism.
Well, Dave Skelton filled in, I understand. But Ryan is supposed to be back this weekend. And in addition to our match at 7 o'clock in the evening, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the women's basketball team plays, and Mike and Ryan will be doing that too. That's why we call him the Iron Man.
Another full day for the big guy, you know?
That's right. And he gets paid by the game he does. You know, he has that big 6-figure contract.
Well, that's why nobody else will work with him, because he gets
all the
money.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody else gets any.
The rest of us don't get any of it. So
that's certainly true.
So if you can't make it out here to the gym for either the basketball or the volleyball games, be sure and tune in on Channel 56. That's probably the best advice we can give.
Yeah, but you really need to come because you know, the highlight of the evening on that evening is Coach Harley's agreed to have everybody at her house afterwards. So
everybody who's there, everybody's yeah. Normally on Friday nights we go to Pizza Hut and everybody's invited. So this
Saturday, so you know.
So Bullseye's going to have us over to her house.
Party's
right?
on at Coach Harley's house.
And we'll pass out maps. We'll probably have a graphic to display on Channel 56 for those people who are at home.
We can manage that.
Drive over to the party afterwards, right?
So we're going to try and get this match over with in a hurry.
Which we've been doing a good job of lately.
That's not true.
Well, on the road we have.
That's not true at all. Those games, even though
that's right. We played 1-33 or something.
Yeah,
didn't
the scores are 25. I said they play the real rules up there to 25, like I think we ought to. The one game was 36-34. Of course, we lost, but it was still 36-34.
The very first one we played, we went to 30 to win.
Yeah, 30-28. I think one was 32-30. So that's not true. But we'll work real hard on Saturday to get it done at a relatively easy time, because we know Mike's vocal cords are probably going to be stretched to the limit.
That's right. We'll try to give him a rest.
Only reason we'll hurry to get done. Hopefully, our kids can play. You know, I do need to touch on this because we had Mitch on the earlier segment, and I think Mitch is progressing slowly, but okay. Yes, we need to get him to progress a little quicker. But I'm real pleased with the development of Nick Bellman over the weekend. I think that he's probably going to be our starting outside attacker unless something happens. Knock on everything I can find.
He's an uninjured player, right? We
right
do
now,
have one or two of those.
He's one healthy one we got, but I'm really pleased with his progress over the weekend. He's been our libero.
Yeah, and you had to move him with
we'll have
Ryan's
to move him over to the outside, and he did really a good job. Coach Schmidlin has been trying to talk me into that, and I've really held off. And so now, kind of out of necessity, we're going to probably do that this weekend, and then put Dusty Sherman in at the libero spot. So that's kind of a positive development, I think, in our program, even though the kids are really young and still made difficult for us. But it's a great learning experience for these kids.
Well, one of the nice things about having a team that's now mostly freshmen after the injuries and so forth, that first of all, the expectations can be much lower, and you can run them in and out. They're still learning. Gives you a chance to figure out where they're going to fit into this program, because you've got them for 4 years.
Well, as much as we hate the fact that Maddie and Jeff are going to redshirt for the rest of the year, it certainly is an opportunity for these young guys. And Mitch talked about it. It's an opportunity for him that he didn't think he would have, and we didn't think he was going to have either. But really an opportunity for him to play against this top-level competition. Our league is going to be so strong, as well as our trip to California and so on and so forth, that these kids can, I think, get significantly better, maybe in a shorter period of time than we thought they would, because they're going to have to.
They have to. That's right. I just want to know, Coach Johnson didn't go with us this last weekend. Does that mean he's redshirting too?
He's been redshirting for quite some time, actually.
Is this an injury redshirt or academic redshirt? What is it?
We'll have to ask him.
We'll have to ask him.
He has to respond to that. I'm not doing that to him.
Well, this Saturday night at 7 o'clock in the Gates Sports Center, we'll be playing Findlay. Coach Johnson will be there, we understand. Mike Moss, Ryan Peratt will be broadcasting, as well as 1 o'clock in the afternoon for the women's basketball game. So, for head coach Arnie Ball, our guest Mitch Dreisbach, the whole crew here at Channel 56, and our sponsors, Fujifilm, Farm Bureau Insurance, Alco, Freedom Financial, Dairy Queen, and Marathon Ashland Oil. This is Mark Franke. So long. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the Arnie Ball Show. This week we're going to preview our conference match at Mercyhurst on Friday night. Dennis Santiago, the freshman setter with the team this year, is our guest. And when we come back, Arnie and I will discuss last weekend's victory over Findlay in an MIVA match. So please stay with us.
They came from every corner of the country. From small towns and big cities. But they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines. A tough and determined few, dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred. And still they come. Celebrate the 225-year history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
Welcome to this week's Arnie Ball Show. I'm your host, Mark Franke, and this segment is sponsored by Fujifilm and Farm Bureau Insurance. Well, Arnie, I found out from Mike Moss, the head sports guy here at Channel 56, that athletic director Mark Pope complimented him on his show last week.
Complimented who on what show?
Complimented Mike Moss on his, what's it called, the Mastodon Spotlight?
Well, ours is, first of all, ours is on at 9:30 at night on Wednesday, I think. Isn't that right? 9:30?
I don't know. I've
yeah,
never
it's on
seen
9:30 at Wednesday.
I got more sense than to watch this
Pope
thing.
Can't stay awake that long.
Is that it?
He probably doesn't even ever watch ours.
I just want to know why he thinks that the Mike has such a great show and ours is not worthy of commendation.
Well,
he must be watching if he thinks it's not worthy of commendation.
I get that. I think I just told you why, and I'm not really sure that a lawyer is a proper critiquing person for our show.
That's
anyhow,
right. That's right, Moss. You don't want to get compliments from a lawyer. That'll teach
that's
you.
Moss's problem.
That's right.
I'm pretty excited that he doesn't even bother to critique ours.
It's probably better that way, isn't it?
Because it'd all be negative, coming from a lawyer for sure.
From now, we had him on a couple of weeks ago. I guess we'll never have him on again, will we?
He is
gone.
Toast.
That's it, Pope. You will never be on this show again.
Toasted.
That's
Big
right.
time.
We will bring in graduate students in geology or something before we'll let you back on this show.
We've almost stooped that low today with Mr. Santiago. I'm interested in seeing the sex segment when you with Mr. Santiago.
We haven't decided whether we're going to do it in English or Spanish yet. He asked me when he walked in the studio, he says, "What kind of questions are you going to ask me?" I said, "How would I know? I never think of these things in advance. We just play it by ear."
Yeah, he was pretty nervous this morning when I took him to the doctor. So.
And how did that turn out?
It turned out negative. That's good, right?
Is negative good when you go to the doctor?
Negative is good when they take x-rays and think you have a broken bone.
Oh, okay. So this is back to the thumb, right?
Yeah, we're back to the thumb. Yep. So we're okay. Well, he's not okay, but, physically he's better.
And he's still got it wrapped. That will probably handicap him for how much longer?
You talking about his thumb or
His
something
thumb.
else handicapping him?
His
Talking about his thumb?
Yep.
Oh, my. Probably the rest of the season, more than likely.
How much does it degrade his ability to set the ball?
I don't think it affects it a whole lot, but I think it does affect the blocking because he gets whacked with it all the time. Whacked. That's the word.
Whacked. The medical term is whacked.
Word.
Yes,
he gets whacked all the time.
No, that's the nose. That's Ryan Staley's nose.
Yeah, it could transfer down to your thumb, I think, as well. Because certainly he does get it whacked in blocking, and I think it's affected his serving too, because you serve the ball off that flat part of your hand, and we're going to blame that anyhow, because his serving's not very good.
Yeah, serving has been a little weak the last couple.
Yeah, it's not very good. So we'll blame that on his thumb.
We'll blame that on his thumb.
Yep.
So
wait a minute. I have a complaint to Channel 56. John, we need to take the microphone off of the umpire.
Oh, so when you're arguing with the umpire, it doesn't go across the air, right?
It's okay to have it on the referee, but from now on, the microphone is off the umpire. Okay?
What?
Yeah.
To management.
Yeah. That's a special request from Coach Ball because some of the words that were used Saturday night when the referee screwed up weren't appropriate for on-air television.
Some of those words that were used by someone other than the referee, right?
Yes, that's correct.
One of the coaches involved.
That's absolutely correct.
When,
it was a Freudian slip.
I should point out that when Channel 56 telecasts our volleyball games, they put a microphone on the referee, who's the one up in the stand, and the umpire is one down on the floor by the scorer's table and the benches, also has a mic. And that's normally okay, but when a coach comes up and decides to...
it's not normally okay. It shouldn't be okay ever for those umpires. The referee's okay.
Well, maybe you could just clean up your language and then we wouldn't have a problem.
No, that ain't going to happen.
You're too old to do
not
that?
Not when they make those kind of mistakes.
I wonder if they picked up Wick's... Wick was pretty mad, too.
Yes, he was.
Till then the call was put his way, and then you got mad.
He didn't get up and hang over the umpire's shoulder and yell into the guy's microphone like somebody else I know.
He's a little sharper than you are, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Or he's a little slower. I think he's a little slower. He's a little wider than I am.
Okay, so that will go to executive management here. I don't know, who's that, Bernie? Or who makes those decisions? John says Bernie makes those calls.
Well, Bernie's going to get some help on that call. And I went back and watched the replay, and we were right.
Yeah, the ball was in the air when he blew the whistle.
Yeah, matter of fact, I think Dennis is the one who played it. And of course, the dumb ball came right. The whistle blew. We played the ball, and of course, it came right to me. I caught it. And I'm going, wait a minute. If I can catch it at my age and as lack of ability I have, certainly somebody else could have gotten it. It was a bad call. But we won the game. So
had no impact on the match.
Well, it could have. It changed a little bit of momentum, if you remember. But we righted the ship, and it was all right.
That's right. And in fact, game 3 there, we had to do some righting of the ship, didn't we? Typical IPFW volleyball match, our previous 2 home matches, first team would win 2 games. We'd have that 10-minute intermission, and then the team that was leading would come out flat and fall behind right away. And we did that on Friday night.
So you're trying to say we should lose the first 2 games at home?
Well, I'm working on that theory.
We can accommodate that. That may be coming up for very long.
I think I need a little bit more data before I draw any conclusions.
Well, we did, and once again, you were there. We talked to the kids about it, and it's just when you win those first two games, it's really easy to let down. But we came out flat, and I'm watching once again. I'm watching the telecast on 56 and the replay, and I'm sitting there like a bull on a stump. I've got my hands crossed and look like I'm mad at the whole world because I was mad at them because they didn't listen to what we said. But fortunately, they turned it around, and we were able to actually win Game 3 pretty easily.
Actually, I thought you did a good job because you had all those young kids in there Saturday night, and I thought you did a good job really focusing on them and helping them improve their game.
Well, since you said that, you can be back on the show, unlike Pope, who will not return.
If I get fired from this show, I wouldn't cry myself to sleep. I'd have noon hours on Tuesdays free, which is when we tape these things.
It would really make it difficult on your pension at some point.
That's right.
All the loss in revenue that you would have.
That's right. And my lifetime goal of becoming an ESPN commentator would probably be down the toilet at that point, wouldn't it?
More than likely.
I'm waiting for Mike Moss to go and take me with him. That's my plan.
Well, I figured you were waiting for him to go so you could take his place.
So I can get complimented on what a great show I have.
He gets all the kudos, and we don't get anything.
That's right.
So, anyhow, I was glad to have. I'm really pleased to have one on last Saturday because that could have been a tough match.
And that was a conference match. That was pretty important. As is the Mercyhurst match coming up this Friday night.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that in the last segment of the show. But when we return, Dennis Santiago will join me, and we'll talk a little bit with our brand new freshman setter and his not broken thumb.
Good luck.
So please keep it here on Channel 56.
This is me, and my mom and dad, and my big brother Alex, and Jack. This is the day I learned that sandals got their name from sand, and that the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget I was sick. This was my wish.
Dr. Matthew Kubik is an architectural engineering professor at IPFW who utilizes his experience to teach his students one-on-one.
So it's really shoulder-to-shoulder learning that we're looking at problems together for the first time.
Dr. Kubik also is the director of the honors program at IPFW. His ability to teach on a personal level allows him to educate to the needs of his honors students.
They want more conversation. They want a closer contact with professors. They want interactive learning in the classroom.
He is thankful for the advantages of a combined classroom of young students and students who are returning to college after years in the workplace.
That mix of students creates a classroom environment that is exciting, that's vibrant.
IPFW, the right school, right here, right now.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. Arnie sponsors this segment are Alco Distributors and Freedom Financial. And our guest this week is Dennis Santiago, freshman setter out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. New to the program, but has a lot of volleyball in his background. We'll talk a little bit about that. First, we got to talk about your hometown, Bayamon. The last time I was down there, we were playing the American University tournament, I was in a car following the team bus. And we're driving over to the American University campus, and we were staying out by probably near the airport in San Juan. And I'm supposed to follow this bus. We're in traffic, and all of a sudden the bus makes a left-hand turn across about 6 lanes of traffic on a red light, and I have no idea where he went. And so it took me about 45 minutes from the point I was to find the American University campus because I was lost as could be.
It's hard driving home because it's not the same route of here. You can drive crazy and do whatever you want, and the police is not going to do nothing over there. I don't know why. I'll talk about that with the coach today because the last summer he come to Puerto Rico and he tell me when he come back again, he told me he not going to drive more because he not like drive over there. It's hard drive over there.
First time I was down there, when the team went down, I can't remember what year it was, probably in the early 90s, we were told there are 2 rules about driving. After dark, you don't stop for red lights, and you don't stop to throw coins into the toll road booths. You just go.
Exactly. Yeah, you go. And not going to happen nothing. So maybe crash the car or something like that, but the police not going to stop you to give you a ticket or nothing of that. You're not going to see that over there.
Well, that's good to know. I know some people who drive around here be better off driving down there, like Coach Johnson. I think he probably exceeds the speed limit on occasion. He'd probably be better off driving down there, wouldn't he?
I don't know. I never see Johnson drive.
Dennis, tell us a little bit about your volleyball background, what you played in high school, and perhaps what caused you to come to the attention of Coach Ball and the program here.
It's a lot different because in home, the play is the same. Okay, you play and play setter and do that job over there, but some of the rules over here I not do in my home because in my home I never lifting before. I lifting by my first time over here the last semester of my life. I never lifting before, and the practice here always you practice hard over here. Sometimes home I'm lazy, and when I'm lazy here the coach tell me, hey, you lazy, practice hard. I like that, but in home it's a lot different because the coach tell you practice, but he never tell you, hey, practice hard, do something. It's only go practice and nothing more.
So the lifting or the weight training in the fall was new to you? You hadn't done that before?
I never do that in my home. Never. I never touch nothing of that in home. I only in home and play, practice, play, game, all that, but I never lifting.
So it must have been quite a shock for you to come to a program where the head coach, if you can believe this, folks, at home, Arnie is actually more intense during practice than he is during the matches.
Yeah, really, yeah. It's hard because sometimes in the last fall, my first practice, I'm so lazy, and when I'm lazy, he go to me, hey, no be lazy, practice hard always. Every practice, go practice hard. And always before, I'm lazy because I don't know why, but I'm lazy. And right now, I like go to the court and practice hard every time.
I believe that in back home in Puerto Rico, you were an opposite, not a setter.
Exactly. I'm play opposite for in my high school, my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. And in my last year, I play setter, but not really setter. I play 6'2" when it's two setter in the court.
Right.
And play when I'm back, I play setter, but when I'm front, I'm hitting the ball always.
Okay, so you did have a little setting practice,
Exactly.
training, or so to speak, but you're really being trained almost from the ground up as a setter, aren't you?
Exactly. The coach helped me a lot because before I'm setting, but I don't know all that rule about all that. Before I'm setting for setting, but here the coach, when I'm here the first 2-3 weeks, I'm practicing with low ball. I see a lot of things I never see in my life about. A lot of things. That guy is amazing watching that guy play.
Well, you're following two All-American setters, Lloyd Ball, of course, who plays with our international team and is playing professionally right now, and Chris Gislin, who...
Yeah, he practices always.
Yeah.
And Jorge Rala is the other guy helped me a lot because I can speak Spanish with him, and he can tell me what I do good and what I do bad.
You're getting advice from Jorge Relat?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to talk to you about that. I think that's a bad move. Jorge Relat, we ought to have him on the show again sometime. He played with us probably about 4 years ago or so, and
yeah,
he's still around. Saw him in the stands the other night.
Yeah, he practices always.
He's always got some nice-looking member of the opposite sex sitting with him too, doesn't he? Is that the advice he's giving you? Is he giving you volleyball advice or social advice?
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty. I like him. I like him a lot because always when I'm lazy, he tell me, "Hey, Danny, practice hard." When I look, my face is bad. He tell me, "Hey, Danny, do this, play hard and have fun over there." And he helped me a lot.
One advantage you have, we talked about the Chris and Loy. They were much taller than you, so you're not nearly that height. But you have an advantage they did not have, and that is being left-handed.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that. I like hitting the second pass always.
In fact, Saturday night, Coach Johnson told you at one point to hit waiting for them to serve, he told you to hit the second ball. Remember, you went up and you hit it?
Yeah.
Nobody was ready for that. He yelled it out. Everybody heard that's what you were supposed to do, and they still weren't ready for it.
I don't know, sometimes I forget I can hit in the ball sometimes. I don't know, I'm suddenly setting. I forget hitting the ball. I don't know why, because always the coach before the game, he told me, "Hey, you the first option, you can hit always the ball." But sometimes I'm thinking only in setting, and I forget I can hit in the ball sometimes. That happens a lot.
I think the coaching staff is trying to get you to be more offensive, to
Exactly.
take more attempts. Because being left-handed and as quick as you are, you have a very quick arm. You can swing at the ball as well as simply throw it or whatever.
And that helped me because when I hit in the ball, the guy jump with me always. The guy and the middle block going to be 1-to-1, and the guy who kill blue, he can be 1-to-1 all game, and that is more easy for my outside hitter or my opposite. When the guy jump me, that's easy because all the guys going to be 1-to-1 all game.
That's right. If you're offensive, the blocker opposite you has to jump with you when you jump, and that should open up either the hitter behind you on the right side or the middle hitter directly in front of you.
And Angel is really versatile. He can do whatever I want in the court. When I say go slide, he going slide. I say go back. He can hit in whatever ball he like. It's really versatile.
How different is the offense that we run here compared to what you're used to back home?
It's not really different. The difference is some guy hitting more high, some guy hitting more slow. I like move the game quick, but with some guys for the team, he cannot hit in the ball really quick. He hitting the ball high. For that, I like Angel because always he hitting the ball really quick. When I set in blue, it's quick. When I set it back, it's quick. Always it's quick with Angel. I like move Angel for part of the court. But with Mitch is really good player. But right now he cannot hit the ball really quick. He can hit it high. And sometimes that give me trouble to me because he can hit it 1-to-1, but with the ball is high, the middle block going to stay there. And it's going to be more hard to him hitting the ball. But that happens, I don't know.
Well, Jeff Patak is another hitter who likes the ball high. Of course, he's sitting out this year. In fact, Hector Soto, who played with us several years ago, you couldn't set it high enough for him. He jumped so high, he wanted to get above the block.
That's different. That's two guys jump a lot. You need to set in the ball high because he needs to hit in the ball high because the jump is high. I don't know. It's different. You cannot compare that guy right now.
One weakness, if I can say this, in the past years has been our middle offense. That we've not had a lot of offense out of the middle. It's not been terribly effective, but that's changed this year. In fact, Saturday night, our middle hitters hit very, very well, and it was on the two pins on the left and the right side that we had some very weak offense.
Right now, that my middle block is my best hitting right now. In Angel can hit in whatever every ball in the game, and George is doing a great job right now, a great job. I'm really proud of George because in the practice, he worked really hard. But I need to work with my outside hitter and my opposite because I need that. Because in the game, I cannot set it always to the middle. I need to use. And I'm going to talk about that with the coach because right now, the video, you see Angel, it's going to be hard for Angel because when all the team watching the video and see Angel hitting, you're going to see Angel hitting blue and pie. And I cannot set it always to Angel.
That's freshman center Dennis Santiago. When we come back, Arnie and I will talk about this week's match at Mercyhurst in Erie, Pennsylvania. So please keep it here.
You understand me?
What?
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, it kills over 1,500 people every year and injures 71,000 more. Inadequate sleep has been linked to health and safety risks, even premature death. But today, new treatments are helping millions get the sleep they need. So talk to your doctor or take our free risk assessment on the web at sleepfoundation.org. Sleep deprivation. It's real, it's dangerous, and it's more treatable than ever.
Today's teenagers, the way people talk, you'd think they can't do anything right. It's just not so. We get to know over 300,000 kids a year, smart kids, who know what they want. They believe in themselves, and they believe in America. Some go straight to college. Others choose to learn leadership, discipline, courage, and commitment first with us. Today's military, making a stronger America, one good kid at a time.
Welcome back to the Arnie Ball Show. This segment is sponsored by Dairy Queen and Marathon Ashland Oil. Normally, when a freshman comes on for his first appearance, it's a struggle to get through the 10 minutes of questions and answers, but I couldn't even get Dennis shut up. The music started playing in the background. I had to cut him off to get out of the segment. You know, one of the things you always complain about, you felt you don't get enough communication on the floor. This young man can communicate. He just never shuts up.
Maybe that's why your wife and my wife are in love with the kid, huh?
They're in love with.
And all the other women, and
they finally gotten
they're
over
old women, but they're all in love with him.
They finally gotten over Scotty Lane, and now they're on to Dennis Santiago.
Now they're on to Dennis,
right?
Yeah. He is not lost for words, and I must say, since Mark Pope won't compliment our show, I must say that I must compliment Dennis because, as I was telling Mike Moss while you guys were doing that last segment, you know, when Dennis first came here in August, it was very, very difficult to understand him, and he was pretty shy about even speaking English. Yeah. And he's come a long way. I'm real proud of him.
Well, that night you picked him up at the airport, you stopped by our house, and he had to have someone was had to have Angel interpret for him. He wouldn't even try to speak English.
Right. So he's come a long way. I still have to reprimand him and Angel every once in a while because they want to go back into Spanish. And that's not good for Dennis. Angel can do that, but not Dennis. Anyhow, he did really well. I'm proud of him.
He did a good job.
And he's really turned out to be a nice leader of our team. If you recall when you and he were talking about our middles, and he talks about how proud he is of Josh and et cetera, and he's already begun to take charge of this team like it's his, and you know that's what the setter has to do.
Well, the setter really is calling the plays and executing the plays. He needs, on the floor, he's really the leader while the ball's in play.
Well, he really is. And obviously he's the quarterback of the team. And not only just on the floor itself, and he alluded to the fact of being lazy, et cetera. Well, all players are lazy at some point or other, and certainly he qualifies. But he responds well to me getting after him, and has really overcome some of that and gotten a lot better. Obviously, the players respond to that, because when you're going to play that position, you've got to play hard all the time. You've got to not only lead by your verbal expressions, of which he does really well, as you can tell, but by the way you physically play as well.
That's right. He is an exciting player. He made a play up at Dalhousie that was just amazing. He jumped, it looked like he was going to jump set, then they thought he was going to tip the ball, then they came down, and then at that moment he swung, and his arm came around so fast. Reminded me of Tom Junkie, as fast as that arm swing was.
Well, you know, he's added some stuff to our program that we've never had, except when Colin Leiter was here, and no offense meant to Colin, but Dennis's vertical is a little bit higher than Colin's, especially today, since Colin's a little tad older and got a few more liquid refreshment in him, you know, and that kind of
Probably
stuff.
from one of our sponsors. I noticed Saturday night he was helping one of our sponsors make a profit.
Well, so that's important. You know, we want them to stay in business so this show can continue. This high budget show that we have. But you know, with that left hand and the things he can do, he's added a whole different dimension to our program than truly we've ever had.
Well, we've got about 2.5 minutes left, so we probably ought to talk about Mercyhurst.
Okay.
What do you know about them?
We know that they're very similar to Findlay, but they're younger than Findlay. We know that they lost to Juniata, which is a Division III program, last week, but a very good Division III program. We received videotape on them yesterday, so matter of fact, Dave's over looking at it right now. We have the scouting report done. They're not as strong as they have been in the past. Their leading player right now, offensive player, is a freshman named Dave Schmidl.
That's going to be tough.
And it's spelled the same, except you just don't put the IM on the end for Dave Schmidlin. But he's a pretty nice player. He's a kid we had talked to about coming here, and he just didn't fit into our plans, but he's a pretty nice player. They are struggling, and so hopefully they will continue to struggle through this week, because you know our bus ride over there is not the most pleasant thing in the world, and then we're going to turn right around and come right back that night, so it'll be a long day for us.
And traditionally, we've not played well there for some reason. I think last year we did okay, but we had a string of years where when we should have easily won in 3, we had to go 4 to beat them.
Well, you know, part of that, I think, Mark, you know, just to save money and costs and so on and so forth, as we need to do, we've always gone over the same day. And when you ride on a bus for 5 or 6 hours and try and get out and play, it's pretty hard to get your legs underneath you. I think the second part of that is we've always piggybacked that with going down to Penn State the next day and playing. Of course, the kids are all excited about going to Penn State. They're looking forward to playing them. So they would caution them about that. And obviously, they don't pay attention a great deal in regards to that. But to try not to look ahead to play Penn State, because we've got to play Mercyhurst first.
Right.
Well, this time we're not going to do that. So maybe it'll make it a little easier.
And Mercyhurst is a conference match, so it's pretty important.
It's a real important match. You know, the match last Saturday was important because Findlay was a conference match. Obviously, you've got to beat those teams that we think we ought to beat on the road. And certainly Findlay and Clark and Mercyhurst and Quincy's program is so much better than it has been. But those are matches we really need to win on the road, for sure.
Absolutely. We're on the road this weekend, but the women's basketball team is at home, and they will be playing at 1 o'clock on Saturday. That game will be televised here on Channel 56. Head coach Arnie Ball, our guest Dennis Santiago, the whole crew here at Channel 56, and our sponsors, Fujifilm, Farm Bureau, Alco, Freedom Financial, Dairy Queen, and Marathon Ashland Oil. This is Mark Franke. So long, and thanks for watching.